Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 74. 74. Good evening, Brady Cush.
Hey, how we doing, Matt?
Not bad. Went and played some disc golf this week. It was good. Had Monday off work, so I had a super long weekend. Went and played 2 rounds at Berrenpore and a round at Harcourt Park. It was great. Yes, very, very much needed and enjoyed every minute of it. So yeah. How's your week been?
Good. Week's been full on. It was nice to get some sunshine over the weekend. As much as the temperatures heated up a little bit, my scores were not. Big shout out to Brett Carlisle, Team Sweet Chain's own, starting to heat up, pushing me. So he beat me by 2 on the weekend. Finished with 9 under par, I believe, for 20 holes for Social League. So yeah, it's really good to kind of see him come along. So yeah, it's good. In Social League, yeah, we're still getting 2-3 cards of folks out even in the middle of winter. So yeah, it's good to be out playing and out seeing the community, which quite nice. Wish I could be playing some tournaments. We had a couple over the weekend.
We did. We had plenty of tournaments over the weekend. We'll get to those shortly. But first off, we're going to go through some hot scores. Then we've got Joseph Berry joining us the first time on the show. He'll be joining us for a bit of a chat on how he got on at Timaru. We'll cover that in a minute, and Desert Island Disc Golf. Then we've got some tournaments to sort of update on, and it's going to be a little bit more of a chilled out episode, I think, this week, maybe in comparison to previous weeks. So, Brady, why don't you take us through the South?
Let's go through the South, starting as ever in Invercargill. South as South goes. Brentley Marshall comes in with a hot round this week of -13. Out in Dunedin, Chingford Park, Chris McLean comes with a hot round of -5. And in Brockville, Jacob Colley is shooting well with 7 under par. Over to Queenstown in the Garden, Akira Kuro comes in at 12 under par this week for the hot round. And at Tucker Beach, Shannon Kite comes in with +3. Over the Crown Range up to Lismore, we got Ben Quinn shooting -7 at Lismore. And at Ely Point, we have Ollie Webb coming in at 2 under par. Up to the Garden City, Jelly Park, Joel Kokawa, please help me pronounce that better, comes in at 14 under par. Nice to see Jelly getting hit again. Queenstown, we got Dylan Budge and Zach Taylor tie for 7 under par. And to round out the South Island, Brooker Avenue, Sergey Sanin coming in at 4 under par. Matt, take us through the North.
So North Island, starting off in Berrenpore, and you've got Brett Carlisle and Brady Cush tying up at 6 under par. Up at Koi, Ethan Stewart hits a 1 under on the foreshore for the hot score this round. Mitch Hudson gets out at Harcourt Park to knock 6 down for the hot score this week. And up at Linklater in the Mighty Manoa 2, Arthur Horn hits 5 under par. At Spa Park Blue is a 3-way tie between Ross Elphick, Richard Atkinson and Lance, who all hit 3 under. And Jason Mallion and Jason Packer did their very best not to get the hot score this week, tied as they were on 3 under par. Todonga, Josh Pratt and Adam Bullen hit evens, and Richard Warston hits 12 under at Henderson for the hot score this week. So yeah, as you said, some tournaments being played this week. We'll just go over the results of those first. We're going to start with the Coastal Cup up in Auckland. So the results of that were as follows. Jackson Sullivan takes out the Open division quite comfortably by 5 shots over Philippe Sinsel and Mark Dakiv, who we both picked as being sort of 1 and 2. We had Jacko and Mark in the top 2. Strong performance by Isaac Sasanuma Howard as well to come in 4th place. He'll be pleased with that. Joe Seebeck takes out the Masters division, and Josh Love Padata hits a very competitive 4 under par to take out the Advanced division. Nicholas Goldner pushing him most of the way. In the ladies, tight between Amy and Charlotte, with Amy taking it out presumably on a playoff, so very close there. And in intermediate, Cale Perry takes out the win by 3 shots. We also had this week Timaru was played as well. Let me just grab the Timaru scores for you. So yeah, lots of tournaments being played, which we like a lot. And what we've got is Joseph Berry, who takes out the win on a playoff ahead of Jaden Watkinson. Jasper van der Meer comes in third place, and Ryan Cambridge in fourth, tied with Jeremy Brockenshire. Looking back through our predictions, Brady, for last week, we actually picked Jay, Jasper, and Ryan to finish in the top three. So when we speak to Joe in a minute, we can he's our coupon buster, getting in the way of a perfect trifecta there. But there we are. But nevertheless, very good shooting and 2 1,000 rated rounds as well to cap it off. Further down in the ladies division, Hayley Flintoff takes out the win. She took out the win by 8 strokes, so nobody won your disc giveaway there, Brady. And in the advanced division, Sebastian Faulkner with a commanding 8-shot lead over Jack Maffey in second. Down to the Masters, and Les Payne and Shane Ripley go nearly all the way, with Les coming out on top at 2 under par. So let's bring in the winner of Timaru and our coupon buster. Welcome to Joe Berry. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, guys. Thank you.
One moment, let me get you in the right place. There we are. There we are. Excellent. So how does it feel then?
Oh, it's pretty awesome, eh? Yeah. I don't know, not too many words for it, honestly. It was kind of just waiting for it to happen, really.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's sort of been on the cards, right? It's sort of been on the cards for a while, because if we go back to let's go back to as far as the Southern Smash earlier on this year, where you finished 7th, and then 5th at Nationals, 5th again in Paradise. And then you come in 8th place at Lismore, 2nd at Sub-Zero. I mean, it was, and then it was only a matter of time, really, wasn't it? And that before you were to get the win. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, most of those tournaments I wasn't even really playing. I was playing good rounds, but I was never really playing consistent. So I just finally got a consistent tournament under my hands.
Well, I was going to say, and what added to that? So, with that string of top 5s, and never really finishing out of the top 10, like what provided that extra bump to get that consistency in Timaru?
Just more practice, really. Like, I've been putting way more, pretty much following Jay's routine, 200 putts a day if I can, and it works. And then I guess just the amount of disc golf I've been playing, yeah.
200 putts a day is takes some discipline to get it in, so it's paying rewards. You talk about consistency with just a 30 rating point gap between your strongest round and your weakest round at the weekend. Must be nice to kind of go into a tournament thinking, hey, I'm feeling good, I know I can maintain this, and then that's going to be pretty competitive by the end of the tournament as people inevitably have their bad round.
Yeah, I found it actually quite easy to stay on top of my game at those courses. They weren't the most difficult courses, so you really just got to stay in that mentally, and yeah.
Talk to us about Timaru and the course there. How was how did it play to you? Did it play to your strengths?
I mean, I think those courses can play to anyone's strength. The extra holes at the ponds definitely played to my strength, being able to throw a bit further. And I guess a couple of holes at Caroline. Mm-hmm. But I think those courses are pretty fair to everyone, minus a few holes, really.
Yeah, do you have a favorite hole or a non-favorite hole? Like, if you could bring one back to Christchurch with you?
Probably be the last hole at the ponds. It's just like a big turnover water carry, and then another pretty solid shot into the pin. Yeah, I think it was over 200 meters. I think those are the par 4s we need to start bringing onto the tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it like for a stop? You know, like you've been to pretty much all of the tournaments for the last 6 months down south. You know,
Yeah.
like does Timaru like rate it? Should you go play it? You know, like what do you think of the experience for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think Timaru, that tournament there was probably one of the better ones I've been to, for sure. I mean, the courses are just the ponds need some cleanup, but other than that, the courses are enjoyable to play. You know, it's easy to get around, and it's good for everyone, really.
And then coming down the stretch, what is it like? You know, you finished second to Jay at Sub-Zero, and now you know, like
Yeah.
you tie with him, push him to the playoff. What was it like mentally coming down the stretch? Talk to us kind of through the playoff and like what was going through your head.
I was actually surprisingly calm. Normally, I get quite nervous, especially in putting. But I don't know. Some reason I kind of felt like it was going well for me. So I kind of just tried to keep that in top of my head, you know, back myself as well. My drives were going real good, so I just had to hit the 5 meter putts, and that's pretty much it.
Because you've got some competition down there in Christchurch. Yeah, I'm just looking at it now, and the top 3 all from Christchurch, and 8 out of the top 9 are all from Christchurch. It takes Johnny Ferrari in 10th to stop that run, and then even then, it carries on with more Cantabrians after that. So, yeah, I mean, you've got quite a competitive group there. Do you play with all of those players on a weekly basis? Are you going up against these guys every week?
I mean, I'm playing with Jay like pretty much every day. We go out, whenever we can. But all the other boys, I play with them on occasion. Play league matches against them. Got our putting league as well. I see a bunch of them there. So, I mean, all the Christchurch guys are real tight. So, yeah.
And how much of your success and to a degree the success of the other Cantabrians do you put down to that kind of competitive nature?
I mean, me playing with Jay has helped my game so much. Like, he's been like, since his success, it's just kind of given me so much motivation to really boost my game and actually, you know, get up to the top where I should be. Because I know I have the potential to be up there. I just need to switch on for tournaments and make it happen.
Well, I mean, you've proved it this weekend, right? You've beaten the national champion, and so I mean, it's very much deserved, and you've beaten an incredibly competitive field. You know, you look further down that list, and there's some very good players who you've also beaten there. So, what's your kind of goal from here? Do you want to go on a bit of a tear now?
I'd love to stay in that like top 3 in the next coming tournaments, and like I want to be in that top 3 when we get to those big tournaments, when we get Jacko and Simon down here, and even Connor, and even everyone in the competition. You know, like a lot of these events recently, we haven't had Mikey, we haven't had Ben, so we've been missing a few of the big guns, and it'd be good to get in that top 3 when all those guys are there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got nationals. You've got South Island champs coming up in Christchurch in early February.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
Which will be in your hometown, and then obviously everybody will be at that one. You're looking forward to those? You've got 3 majors that are all pretty packed, relatively close together.
They're pretty stacked. I'm looking forward to Taupo and Southern Smash, of course, both being on like golf courses. Just looking forward to being able to throw as far as I want.
Is that something that you find that you lean on? Is your distance?
Yeah, I find like if I can get that extra 20 meters, 20, 30 meters over people, it just makes that upshot on those par 4s so much easier. Par 5s, you know. I found at the ponds at Timaru, I was getting pretty much all the par 4s there, minus 2 of them. 2 of them were quite actually difficult, but just being able to give yourself that 50-meter chip shot, you know, it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, now that you've, like, beaten Jay and, like, ticked that one off the list, like, are you pushing yourself, or is, like, there someone else that you're, like, gonna chase down?
Jay's always going to be there. And, like, I guess when Jacko comes into the tournaments and Simon and even Levi, I forgot to mention him. Like, when those guys are there, there's so many people at the top to beat. So, no, there's always people to give motivation to fight against.
And so,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
what do you feel it takes to stay at the top? So, like, you've reached number one. So, like, what does it take? What skills are required to, like, be in the top three going forward?
Just more practice, more practice, more practice, Really, it is. That's all it is, Staying on top of your game is really just practice.
So do you go into tournaments now, or do you think you'll go into tournaments with a slightly different kind of mindset? Because you're going to go into Tucker Beach Rush as one of the favorites.
Yeah.
Does that change from being someone who we overlooked you? Does it change the way in which you approach the tournament, knowing that there's a little bit maybe added pressure that to perform?
No, I don't think I would feel that. I kind of have tried to keep the same mindset recently on all tournaments, like going out there just to play my best golf and play consistent golf as well. In the past, I've had throughout my tournaments, I've had a few quite bad rounds. I'm just trying to get those out of my game and just play the best golf I can at a time.
Excellent. And so with nationals, with South Island Champs and then nationals in February and March next year, I mean, it's still some distance away, but with the amount of talent that's compressing at the top now, it's looking incredible. I can't wait for those tournaments. It's going to be very, very competitive in both of those, and obviously there's nothing like your own hometown to have a tournament in, to get the relax and feet up during the evenings. So you've got Tucker Beach Rush coming up next.
Yeah.
And you're also registered for Wahitapu. Any others this side of Christmas?
I'll probably head up to Armageddon, so Redstone.
Oh yeah. Early October. Yeah.
I'm hoping to play McLaren's Falls.
Yeah.
Oh, Tauranga, that's in September, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Tauranga. Yeah. But depending on cost and time, we'll see. But I do want to play that course. And I also want to play against the North Island boys. I want to play against Jacko and Connor and Simon if they're playing.
Excellent.
And might be a couple others in there. I guess there's Rosa Change as well.
Don't forget Fault Line Fury in Harcourt Park. Little plug for the Wellington Tour event there. Excellent. Right, look, great. Look, it's been great to kind of get to know you a little bit. From I didn't know you at all, actually. So it's been good to get to know you a little bit. Let's try and get into Desert Island Disc Golf. For this portion of the show, if anybody's not familiar with this segment of the show, Joe is stranded on a desert island. Fortunately, there is a disc golf course on this desert island, and he has been stranded with 3 of his favorite discs and 3 of his favorite card mates. And so, let's go through your discs. What do you have? What are you throwing on your desert island?
This disc, I pretty much threw this on nearly every hole at Timaru. Just my pretty straight zone. This thing's been pretty beat up. It actually flies 100 meters. So, I can pretty much throw it on any hole there.
And is that the only zone? Is that the only zone in your bag?
No, I do have a beefier one, a more reliable one, I guess, for big finishes. But this one just goes that extra little bit. Doesn't fade as hard. Stays in the air. So yeah, I like that one more for throwing mainly because it goes a little bit further. Next disc, I got this is a Halo Leopard 3. my like
Ooh.
go-to, just like straight fairway. And yeah, and then the
Sorry, are you finding that because the leopard free, correct me if I'm wrong, that's relatively understable? Have I got that right?
It is, but the halo plastics are pretty stable. So those ones
it
just
beats it
fly
up a little bit.
A little bit of flip up, maybe a bit of turn if you give them heat, but they're pretty reliable.
Okay.
And finally, I got this beauty, my Calvin Destroyer, pink one. It's actually
very good.
It's not as beefy as every other Halo Destroyer you see. It flips up a bit, It doesn't.
You've got that one, have you?
Is it?
You've got that one, the flippy one out of the lot.
Yeah. No, it's still pretty reliable though.
Excellent. 3 very popular discs there. So now for your free card mates, so your free card mates can be alive or dead. They can be real or fantasy. They can be seasoned pros or people you know. So who are you picking? Who's on your desert island with you?
It's pretty much just a pretty like stacked pro card. I think I got Calvin. He's just my favorite pro.
Yeah,
he's just so consistent. And he bombs. Got Kirsten Tatar, probably my favorite FPO player out there at the moment. I love her form and just she bombs as well. So and then finally Simon Lizotte. So I want to see how far he actually throws. And
he's more controlled now, apparently.
Yeah, but even still.
That's incredible. Right. We're going to move on now to the Sweet Chain quick fire round. We've got a family-friendly front nine, which this week Brady's going to go through, and then we've got a safari back nine, which I'm going to take you through after. So family-friendly front nine, same questions to every guest. Brady kicks off.
Sweet. What's your name?
Joseph Berry.
Where were you born?
Christchurch.
Where do you live now?
Christchurch.
What's your PDJ number?
180861.
How long have you been playing?
Coming up 2 years.
What's your favorite disc?
Halo Destroyer.
And your favorite course?
Bellaraka.
Favorite MPO player?
Pro.
Yep.
Calvin.
And then your favorite FPO?
Kirsten.
There's your front nine. Matt, take us through the back.
Excellent. So volleyball or beach volleyball?
Volleyball.
Spin putt or push putt? Spin. Putting or field work?
Yeah. Putting.
1,000 rated tournament or the win?
The win.
Queen's Park or Brooker Ave?
Brooker.
Hyzer flip or flex?
Hyzer flip.
Paul or Ricky?
Ricky.
Rain or shine?
Shine. Even though I'm good in the rain.
Full send putt or backed off mid?
Full send putt.
Lovely stuff. Excellent. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining us. Very, very good. And we got to know you a little bit more. You bust our coupon last week. We'll be sure that doesn't happen again. Actually, stay tuned for the power rankings, which have been updated. So if you want your picks started for Tucker Beach, then you can start thinking about those now. But Joe, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again, I'm sure, on tour. Looking forward to seeing how you get on the rest of the season, and all the very best.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
Catch ya.
Lovely stuff. Right. There we go. Yeah, look, I think, and Morgan called it. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Morgan. You did call it last week that that Joe would get the win, and I think we've seen him finish as we've seen in the top 5 to 10, higher up more recently, and now he's got the win. Suddenly, that kind of I don't know whether legitimizes him as a contender is fair, but certainly makes him part of the competition, part of the conversation going forward.
I think it's really fascinating. And one of the things that came up in the front nine is he's only been playing for 2 years. Jay has only been playing for a year. You know, like it's really interesting to hear, you know, like Levi, Simon, Jack O'Connor, you know, like, your big 4. But it's like the idea that like 5 through 10 have been playing for 2 to 3 years and are already like winning and being contenders on the New Zealand tour. So like that to me says, like, one, like he talked about him and Jay are putting 200 putts a day, which is incredible. Like, that's awesome. I know that, he almost, like missed showtime because he was at putting league tonight. And so that idea of with players only having played for a couple of years and already doing extremely well on tour, something about that says it's either one, all these new young guns, like who are coming into the scene are clearly putting in more time than the veterans, or to me, is it something about the tournament structure, whether it's the course or something else that needs to be elevated, like this idea that, like he likes longer courses because that helps. And so it's kind of like, like it'd be interesting to see a more technical course, like when he went down to Paradise, he finished, I think it was 5th overall. Was Paradise 4th. So, like that idea of, like Jay came up and played very well at nationals, and, Joseph came up and finished 5th. So, it's not that it's that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see going forward, like what's going to start separating, like the wheat from the chaff, as it were. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but I do think slightly doing Joe and others a slight disservice there in that, and I hear this quite a lot, right? I hear it quite a lot from people who comment on sports people doing well. And I know you haven't said it, but one of the things that winds me right up is people who say, "Oh, he's naturally good," right? He's a naturally good disc golfer. How many times have you heard that, right? And I'm like, is it that he's naturally good, or is he putting 200 times a day, right? And he's putting in field work at the weekends, and he's doing some gym work to work on his strength and resilience over a weekend tournament. Is it natural good, or is it actually all these hidden work, right? Hard work that's going into making these people from good players into great players. And so when I hear that, I'm always like, I think you might be doing them a slight disservice there. When and it applies to any sportsman, really. I mean, how many times have you heard people say that you got people like LeBron James is a naturally great basketball player, Ronnie O'Sullivan's a naturally great snooker player. There's lots of, but what you don't see is the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice they put in, come rain or shine, that makes them better. And I think that actually that's quite encouraging, really, because what it means is that if you're out there and you're kind of going, "Oh, I wish I could be like that," well, guess what? You can be like that. You can be like that, right? If you want to put in the work and put in the practice. Now, I'm sorry, Brady, your thoughts on this, because I could go on for a while, but
well, no, and like I'm not taking anything away from Joseph, and I would argue that I love that the new guard is coming in and putting in the work. You know what I mean? And I don't want to take anything away from that. Like the idea that they are doing it. But for me, as a tournament director, that idea of, he talks about, we want to get everyone at the same tournament, like when it comes to that. But it's also interesting too, because if we look at all these tournaments, the pro division is now no longer even close to the largest division that's being contended and like being contested, like it's MA1, but if you look at up north, if you look at Waitawa, like Joseph Love Parada won by 9 strokes. He was 4 under par. I think he finished like 4th or 5th overall for the tournament. So it's like, like Haley won by 8, like Joseph and Jay won by 14 strokes over is ridiculous. So like there's like they're clearly putting in the work, and they're clearly like reaping the rewards of that work. You know what I mean? The fact that Joseph,
it's got to be putting, isn't it? It's I put it down to I put a lot of that down to putting. You play 27 holes, and you can putt 90%, 95% from C1X, and you probably got, there's probably half a dozen shots just there, just in that one area of the game. We don't have stats like tee to green and all that kind of stuff, but I would imagine that that's where they gain their strokes.
Well, but Joseph talked about it too. Joseph said his win was off the tee. Like that he had 5-meter putts. He didn't have to really putt from what he was saying. So like that idea of, and Jay's known for his putting, the idea if, like if Joseph is doing 200, that he's quite clearly, I definitely, having played and seen Joseph play before, he does have a kind of Calvin aspect to him, that he's got plenty of distance. He's got plenty of smooth, like plenty of putting, so you can't kind of count him out. Like a lot of people always talk about like Ricky versus Paul, right? Like number 1, number 2, and Eagle back before he got hurt. But Calvin had one of the longest, Calvin Heimberg in the States, got one of the longest streaks of the top 5 finishes, like of all time, of like last year. It strang for like a year and a half, I think. So, like the idea that I like the fact that Joseph likes him. That's his favorite MPO player, to see him kind of look up to that. And he's kind of falling into that role here in New Zealand. So I would argue that, yes, Joseph has always been a contender for a while. He's now proved that he can put together a full weekend, not just a round. I know that he can throw far. I know that he can putt. He knows that he can put together good rounds. And so now to see him and Jay clearly separated themselves, you know what I mean? And like nothing against Jasper and the rest of the field, but like 14 strokes is a statement, you know what I mean? To like push for the win.
A lot of those strokes for Jay, at least, Joe spoke about how consistent he was, which is the reason why he was placed so high. One of the reasons why Jay hit the score he did was due to a third round 1042 rated round, right? Just to put that in perspective, he's now the 6th player in New Zealand history to shoot a 1040 round in New Zealand. Only 5 players prior to him have done it. His 1042 is tied with the 16th best round ever shot in New Zealand. Right, so that's since records began. Right, so we're talking about that was pretty hot. That was pretty hot. There's not too many in that club.
Well, right, but like the thing that if we can't compare, if we're using ratings and that's kind of our metrics to compare players, Jackson Sullivan won this weekend by 5 strokes, not 14. Jackson's first round was a 10-10 rated round, so 30 points lower than the 1040 rated round. So the idea of, I can't tell what his average was, but like that's, again, like that's kind of the things that I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And
his average would have been about 990, I suspect, about a 990 rated tournament. Just having a look at it, whereas Joe's will be about 1,000, give or take, maybe a scratch under 1,000, 996 or something.
Yep. But the idea that Jackson's currently the only 1,000 rated player in New Zealand, and the idea that, okay, so if it's a 10-point difference in rating, that's 1 stroke per round, arguably, which means that Jay and Joe are going to be 3 shots ahead going into it. You know what I mean? That round would have been, 3 shots clear of Jacko on the first round. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see, now that more and more tournaments are getting rated, the idea that we might start to be able to compare players a bit more evenly. So it's not just like, can they come to a tournament, we can't play them and that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see going forward of how accurate these go. And well, I mean, speaking of which, we should probably bring up power rankings, where do people say?
So the power rankings attempt to do that. Right, that's exactly what they're designed to do. Is to take into account the fact that people are playing all over the place, not in the same tournament, but where do they sit relative to each other? Now, I will say on the subject of power rankings, for the weekend, for Timaru, the rankings engine correctly predicted 4 of the top 5, and these rankings also correctly predicted 6 of the top 10. Over in at White Tower at the Coastal Cup, it predicted correctly 5 of the top 10, and at Sub-Zero the other week it predicted 8 of the top 10. So it does an all right job. It's in that kind of 70% range of getting the predictions right for the top 10. So it'll guess what its top 10 will be, and it will be right. It'll be right. 7 of those 10 players will finish in the top 10, is what it's saying. Ethan's made a comment which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, here are the power rankings. Where are they? Here are the power rankings. So in the ladies division, Stephanie Stridham's second place overall in Timaru was enough to take her up 3 spots to 9th. Eilish finished 3rd, so she climbs up 1 spot to 13th. And over in the MPO division, Joe Berry is 3 spots up to 6th. Jasper van der Meer climbs 5 spots to 10th following his 3rd place. And yeah, and really it was pretty much as you were in terms of White Tower. There were some big movers this week. Special note to Jeremy Brockenshire, who climbs 45 places to 29th. Dylan Deadman Nahui, who climbs 22 places to 46th. And Brendan Butler, who climbed 69 places up to 68th. So well done to those guys. Mark Tebbett also with 44 places up to 158. So there was some big moves this week with lots of tournaments being played. We're just going to move on to Ethan's question here. So, is there any plans for or existing Sweet Chain Analytics team to look at field strength rating, because some tournaments aren't made equal to others? So I guess what you're talking about here, Ethan, is the strength of the field rather than the strength or the difficulty of the tournament, which could be difficult to assess, right? But you could certainly look at the strength of the field and go, all right, for example, all the top 6 are playing in this tournament, so the field is pretty strong, and whereas none of the top 20 are playing in this tournament, so the field is pretty weak. We could do something like that, and we could certainly have a look at trying to attach a metric to it, if that's something that we thought was going to be useful. Ben's asked, how did I go up 3? So this is interesting, right? Because even though you didn't play this weekend, Ben, you could still have moved due to other people moving down. So what this rating system does is it's not like you accrue points for playing, and so if you play, your points total can only go up. What it does is it says, right, you're expected to, for the field, for the people who entered, this is where you're expected to finish. How far away did you finish away from that finishing spot compared to how everybody else above you and below you did compared to their finishing spots, right? So, so you probably had the advantage of, let's have a look. So Ashton Clark, for example, let's just have a look. Actually, if we can have a look at who had a good tournament. I'll give you an idea of what this means. So we predicted Jay to finish 1st, Joseph to finish 2nd, Jasper to finish 3rd, Ryan to finish 4th, which is broadly how it finished. We then predicted Johnny Ferrari to finish 5th. He finished 11th. We predicted Ashton to finish 6th. He finished 12th. We predicted Stephen Reed to finish 7th. He finished 17th. And John Hughes to finish 8th. He finished 17th. So you probably took advantage of the fact that there was a bunch of players there who underperformed compared to what the algorithm said they would. And so as a result, you went up because other people went down. And so that's kind of how it works. We're actually in the process of working on something which will allow you to make your own predictions going into tournaments, and you can, for want of a better phrase, bet on who you think is going to have good wins and whatever. So yeah, keep half an eye out for that. I mean, it might be some time away, but it's certainly in the process of being built. So well done to the analytics team for their hard work there. Right now, where are we going to go now, Brady? We've got a few things on tournaments. Let's have a look at some upcoming tournaments. I think I've probably filled this in. I'm sure Bray will tell me where I've got it wrong. So Timaru and Coastal Cup was last weekend, so I can take them off. Tucker Beach Rush is at the end of July. And then the weekend after is the Women's Global event. Really excited about this, Brady, because the Women's Global event in Wellington is sold out. We've had a bit of a rush in the last week of about 12 people. And we sold out. So we've got to 50 players. We've got 50 ladies joining us for the event at the beginning of August. And it's going to be fantastic. So hang on one moment. What I'll do is I just wanted to make a comment on this because something is noteworthy about this. Of the 50 players that we've got 9 playing in an open and advanced combined. We've got 7 in rec and 14 in novice. FA4 is 14 strong, and we've got 6 juniors playing. So look, really looking forward to that.
Whoa, what? 6 junior women.
6 junior women playing. Yep, we got 5 in the under 15s and 1 in the under 10s. So yeah, looking forward. It's going to be good. And as a bit of a sneak preview, I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to do this, but everybody gets one of these. So yeah, we've got some custom plastic made. So this is in your players pack. If you registered, we told you to register. If you registered, you're getting one of these. So look forward to these. These are great. These are fantastic. It's a Latitude 64 Fuse, so an absolutely fantastic disc as well for beginners and also for more experienced players. I've got one in my bag. I love the Fuse. I'm actually going to have one of these as well, I think, because we made a few more. Right. Anyway. After
Big
that,
shout out to Nat Jump for
totally, yeah, totally. So Nat Jump, who of Jump Disc Golf, get onto Instagram and follow their Instagram. They're a lot of fun. Jump Disc Golf it is, and she did the design for this local Wellingtonian, and absolutely fantastic. So well done to Nat because the design is beautiful, lovely colours, really pops on the disc. Going to be a popular one, I'm sure. Yeah, Scott Walker says bin. Actually, funny you should say that. We will have some for sale. We did order a few more than the ones going in the players pack because we thought there might be some guys who wanted one. I'm having one in my bag. I'm buying one because they're really nice, and I throw a fuse anyway. And there's a few other people who want one. So keep an eye out because we will have a few. There's only a small number, but we do have a few available to sell. We might even do a giveaway for one. Don't know. We'll see. We'll see a bit close to the time. Right. What other events we got coming up after that? If you do want to get involved in the Women's Global event, but you're not registered for Wellington, then the Auckland event is on the same weekend, being run by Charlotte Dunkley up in Auckland. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic event as well. So make sure you get in contact with them if you want to play and you're in the Auckland area. Then make sure you get along to that tournament. Charlotte puts on a fantastic event. And really does do well to pull in local businesses, and there's always a packed players pack and a good vibe. So make sure you get to that Women's Global event if you're not playing in Wellington. Following that is the Paul Beth Foundation fundraiser. This also is quite interesting. Thanks, Steve, for the ones I've missed. I'll have to add these in. This one's also interesting. Hit up Morgan if you want to know more info. This is a tournament that's going to be held all around the country on the same day. So every major centre, it will. I'm making so many mistakes. Thank you so much for correcting me. every major center, or most of the major centers, are going to have a tournament run on the same day, and it's going to be a PDGA sanctioned event, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be how you play against your rating. All right. So if you're sat on an 800 rating and you haven't played a sanctioned tournament for a while, you can come along and do well. So yeah, wink, wink. Then you got Todonga Extreme, which is the 25th of September. Correction from what's on there. It's not the 17th. It's the 25th, the week after. The Coastal Classic is on the 22nd of October. Armageddon in Nelson. I'm going to try and make that one. It should be good fun in first weekend of October. Moonbase. Then Beffel's Wahitapu in Lake Ohio, and Bros for Change, and finally Fault Line Fury, which very much looking forward to in November. Brady, any of those stick out? Which ones are you going to go to?
Probably the Paul Macbeth. That should be a bit of fun. I typically like to get up to the Extreme, but the drive's just getting a little bit too far. We'll see with it being in September if I can sneak away to that. And actually, I want to check out Armageddon this year. Joseph said that he was coming up to it. I'd love to just kind of pop across the ditch, grab a ferry, and head to Nelson. I think that'd be fun. I've yet to play the course. It's on a golf course, so I like Joseph, like those longer courses. So yeah, Tauranga and Armageddon are probably the two on my list to play this year.
Oh, and obviously Fault Line, because you'll be in the area.
Yeah.
Excellent. Jax asked, is there a way for us to see the power rankings during the week? Yes. If you log onto our YouTube channel and go back and have a look through the video, whilst you're there, give us a like and a subscribe. Then you'll be able to see it there. And if you just pause it when it's shown, then you'll see it.
Yeah.
But there currently isn't a website. When the data analytics team have progressed more on the little project I was talking about, then they'll be available on that site for everybody to pour their eyes over. Right. What else have we got? Have we got any more news? Is there anything else going on?
Oh, I don't think so. Congratulations to all the board members who made it in. Wellington also had their AGM, so congratulations to the new Wellington board members. Good luck to the new NZDG board. They have a bit of,
sorting out to do. Exactly.
But yeah, no, other than that, we got some disc golf to play, some warm weather to hopefully, and daylight hours that are starting to come back.
Yes. I mean, it happened last week, but the days are getting longer. Might not notice it now, but you will by the time September rolls around. But look, wherever you're playing disc golf this week, take it easy, have fun, get some birdies, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.